Very often in my clinical practice, I tell my clients or the parents of my clients to practice meditation. And sometimes it's a tough sell because they're asking me, what is that? Is it something that's woo-woo or over-spiritual? And they don't understand the utility of the practice. So this video is going to detail what meditation is and provide a very simple, experiential foundation for you to follow along with. And that is crucial because if you don't have those fundamentals in place and you don't know what you're doing and you sit down for a meditation practice, you may not end up with the results that you need. The sense of clarity and peace and kindness and the spaciousness and a greater sense of awareness that comes with a good quality meditation practice. So what I'll be doing is guiding you through, and I'd like you to follow along as I guide into the meditation, and I'll be pointing out certain important factors or areas to pay attention to. That way we can ensure that you really get a great understanding of what meditation is and how it's going to work. So let's go ahead and get started. The first step in sitting down to practice meditation is to simply become aware of your breathing. And the reason that you do that is just to ground your attention. Because your mind is such that it locks on to whatever thoughts are flowing through consciousness. So you may be thinking, what's mom thinking? What's dad thinking? Does that girl like me? Does that guy like me? How many Cheetos do we have in the pantry? What's going to be happening tomorrow? Did I reach the deadline? All sorts of concerns, fantasies, images, visions, thoughts of all sorts. All of that mental activity is happening at any given moment. So what we're doing when we begin the meditation practice is we're simply shifting attention from all that mental activity to the breath. Now let's touch on that breath topic. The breath is important in meditation because it's very easy to ground into. It's always there, unless you're dead. But if you're dead, you can't practice meditation. So we come back to the breath. Now, there's different types of breath work. There's different ways of breathing that facilitate relaxation or stimulate you in a certain way. All of that. But for the purpose of learning meditation, we're simply moving attention there. So let's give that a try now, together. Bring your attention to the breathing that's already occurring. It's coming in and it's going out. Now it's important here to not try to turn that breathing into something special. We're not practicing deep belly breathing or any sort of breathing technique. But you may notice as you let awareness settle there on the breath, going in, going out, what arises from that level of focus and settling very often is relaxation and peace. because the attention is no longer scattered, but settling there. So let's just take that moment, bringing attention to the breath, in and out, just following it. Now at this point, while you did that exercise, you may have noticed, well, I still went back into my mind. I still thought about those Cheetos, or the girl at the bar, or whatever it is that you thought of. And that's okay, because the practice of meditation is always about returning attention again and again to something other than your chattering mind. So we're starting out with the breath. Now let's open that up a little bit to start to include other senses, other objects of experience. So take a moment to tune in to what you hear in the space that you're in. Now, as you do that, it's important to notice the thoughts and the mental activity that you have that's occurring around what you hear. So, for example, when you hear the air conditioning come on, as an example, there may be a thought that's associated with that. Thank God the air conditioning's on. Did I pay the bill? What time is it? All sorts of associated thoughts. And some thoughts, they may seem random. But what matters is to bring yourself back to what it is that you hear. Noticing the mental activity, noticing the thoughts, the questions, the observations, all of that. And whenever you notice that, bring attention back to the sounds in the space that you're in. So let's give that a try together. Notice the sounds and notice the thoughts about the sounds. And at this point in this guided meditation, this experience of meditation, this description, all sort of wrapped into one, what you can do is begin to bring attention to your other senses. And what's important here is to notice that your senses are different than the mental content that's happening inside of you. So if you had your eyes closed, you can open them and to begin to notice the contours, the play of light and dark, the shapes that you see around you, and to see the mental content that you add to that. That's a very natural, automatic reaction. Because in meditation, you're learning about the mind. You're observing the contents of the mind. And the mind gets us into trouble. All sorts of traditions of psychotherapy say that, as well as the religious traditions. The mind, with its judgments, comparisons, evaluations, labels, rushing into the future, jumping back into the past, all of which has tremendous value and allows us to function in this world. But it gets us into some stinky situations quite a bit. And so that's what we're learning how to do in this practice. Broaden awareness and observe our sneaky little mind. So that there's space. And so that we can be responsive instead of reactive. And so we'll return to the practice, noticing what we see, and noticing the mind's reaction. And for some of you, you may be saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just observing, just noticing what's going on. And that's exactly right. What you point out with that observation is that very often we're not noticing what's going on because our minds are automatic and our awareness is closed in. And so we're not clear, we're not open, we're not aware. So we miss things. We miss the leaves blowing in the wind. We miss the unique shape of the bark that's fallen into a bush. We miss the gratitude and enjoyment of a creaking door. We label that door and we say, gosh, he didn't fix that door? Come on. I told him a week ago to fix that door. He's a real, I'm going to let him have it. And we're suffering. And we all do that. But what meditation practice is allowing us to do, facilitating for us, is open awareness to observe. So for the last part of this experiential guided meditation and description, we're going to become aware of the sensations of our body. Noticing all the sensations moving from the feet to the legs, to the knees, upper thigh, and slowly moving up, just taking note of whatever sensations are there. Up into the chest, shoulders, neck, and the head. And there's a lot more to be said about observing these sensations in the body and what they tell us about how we can care for ourselves, what's going on in the body, our reactions. There's more to say about using that as a way to guide decision making and interactions, all of that. But that's for another video. But for now, just become aware, just take note of whatever it is that's happening. Whatever you notice. And your mind's reaction to that. My leg muscles are always tight. Why are they so tight? I should call a physical therapist. That last one, could you believe that last one? Oh my gosh. And see, the narrative continues. It's okay. Just let it be there. Just observe that. For this exercise. So now we've become aware of the breath, sense of sight, hearing, and the sensations in the body. And notice how your mental state or your physical body, whatever it is, has shifted. That it's different from when you first began the video. And note that. How is it different? What is it like right now? How did it shift? What am I feeling now? And now you're aware. Isn't that cool? So I invite you at this point, if you'd like to continue the practice, to sit or lay down and be there observing your mind, your senses, your breath, noticing, noticing, noticing. Simply being aware, paying attention. And you can continue that practice as long as you would like. I hope this has set up a strong foundation for you to practice meditation, and that you have a good understanding of the reason for the practice and what it is that you're doing when you sit down to practice meditation. Hope you enjoyed. Have a beautiful day or evening. God bless. May you suffer less.